Danny Coulson is a former deputy assistant director of the FBI, and he commanded and founded the FBI's hostage rescue team. Danny, I imagine FBI agents are on the scene right now. What's happening?
Collecting evidence. It's kind of a tragedy, isn't it? I want to commend a guest you had on, the SWAT team commander from Oklahoma, I think. He talked about what they do. Something much better than that is to have armed police officers inside the school protecting our kids. 7 of my 8 grandchildren are in schools in Texas, and they're this age. We just gave $40 billion to Ukraine. Why don't we allocate money to protect our own citizens, to put policemen in our schools to protect our children from these monsters? I'm really angry about this. I'm saddened, and frankly, I'm a lot afraid.
Well, Kellyanne Conway on the 5 made an excellent point that there are billions of dollars that were given to schools across the country for COVID relief. And that money has not been spent. That money is just sitting there waiting to be spent. And I think maybe a common sense idea would maybe take some of that money, a couple billion would do it, and harden some of these soft targets, especially the elementary schools. Because as we learn that a lot of the Texas middle schools and high schools will have armed security guards there, but the elementary schools do not. And I think it would make a lot of sense to make sure that we have armed security agents there, at least one, for every elementary school in the entire country. It would be common sense, Danny.
Yeah, it would be. I totally agree with that. And I mean, I was in the business of rescuing people from situations like this. It's a lot better to be inside, keeping the bad guys out, than trying to go in and find the bad guys. And why don't we do that? We have the money. And one other thing I think it's important to remember, the gun genie is out of the bottle. You can outlaw guns tomorrow. They're still out there. And we need to protect ourselves. We need to have courage to bring in policemen that will risk their lives and save our children and put a stop to this stuff. Stop it before they get through the front door.
And this guy reportedly had a handgun and a rifle. We haven't confirmed that yet, but it looked like some of that grainy footage indicated that there was a long gun involved. It's a very rural area. It's down in South Texas near the border.
Yes.
I'm sure that's just, you know, every 18-year-old's probably proficient in firearms down there. It's just part of the way of life in South Texas. So, as you said, you really can't do anything about the access if the gun was legal. And he was a psychopath. He killed his own grandmother, reportedly, and then stormed into this school. So, you know, the gun thing, and as you heard Bret Baier say just a second ago, that's going to be dangerous territory if you hear the president wander into that avenue tonight.
He will.
I think there would be a lot more bipartisan agreement, I would assume, to strengthen and harden some of these soft targets. You could call it infrastructure. You could call it protecting the kids. Do you see any reason why that would not happen, just even in Texas alone?
Well, it should happen, and we have the money to do it. Another thing, Jesse, it's really important. Our mental health issues are in disarray. Every time we have a shooting like this, and I do a lot of research, I do a lot of training on this, it's some crazy guy.
Yep.
The world knows he's crazy. A lot of times police talk to him and they refer him for an evaluation. They gave him a pill and send him home. He goes home and gets his gun and kills people. That's a common denominator here. And Congress is not addressing that. Our state legislature is not addressing that because we're so worried about offending somebody that we don't address people that are a threat to our society. And it's scary. It's scary not only in schools, in supermarkets, at the mall, wherever you go today. You need to be very conscious of your surroundings. And remember, the police are minutes away, but seconds matter. It's up to you to protect yourself.
Absolutely. All right, Danny Coulson, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.